Hey, hey, you're back for more. All right, lesson 35, writing decimal numbers as fractions, and let's get right to it. Reading these things out, you already know from last time. When you read a number like this, zero point 0.7, of course you can say zero point 0.7 if you want to. If you read it with as like a fraction, like we did last time, like we said, remember last time we said if you have something like this, 0.753 or something like that. Well, this would be considered, 7/10. That's the tenths, that's the hundredths, that's the thousandths. Okay, make sure you put the THS there at the very end. That's 7/10 if you read it. Now, if you read this right here, that would be 75 hundredths, right? If you read the entire thing, that would be 753 thousandths. Okay. And you're probably checking your answers in your solutions manual. These are getting, to write these all out, they're like, 16 miles long. Okay, keep at it. They'll be over pretty soon. All right, but let's read these. 0.7 is one way you can read this. Of course, you can also say 7/10, right? Well, can you visualize the fraction 7/10? Here it is, right? And did you know that every fraction was a division? You knew that. Okay. All right. Well, same thing here. 0.65 is going to be 65 hundredths, and you can reduce that, of course, because those are both divisible by 5. This one here is 917 thousandths. That's all you need to say. There we go. That's just, when you know how to convert these like in your head and go, then all you need to do, you don't have to write them in English. If they say, write them as fractions, write them as fractions. That's way easier than writing them as these long string of English words. Okay, well, write that as a fraction. That's a piece of cake. 0.71, that's going to be 7. You know this is 7/10. And you go, oh, that's 1 hundredth, so 71 hundredths. And there we go, 71 hundredths. By the way, if you ever get stuck on these and you go, oh, I froze up or something. Well, every number on Earth and other planets as well is a fraction if you stick it over the number 1, right? Everything on the Earth you can always stick over 1 if there's nothing down in the denominator. So you can go, okay, oh man, I'm just going to stick it over 1. I forgot how to do this. Well, make this into an integer. We'll pull this decimal point over 2 times in the numerator to turn it into a 71. And then if you did it to the numerator, you have to do exactly the same thing to the denominator. Well, the decimal point is right there, 1.0 basically, right? So if you move it over 2 times like you did with that one, that's going to be a 0 there and a 0 there. So the bottom will be 100, just like that is there. So if you ever forget, that's another way to do it. All right? 3/10 as a decimal number. Ooh, we're going to go backwards. Well, 3/10, we know, is just 0.3 because we know the first numeral behind a decimal point is the tenths. So they say 3/10, that's where it goes. All right? How about writing this with words? English words, preferably. Okay. All right, well, with words, let's see. That's going to be, okay, this is 0/10, this is 7 hundredths, and this is going to be 76 thousandths, right? So don't write 76 hundredths, because that would be just 0.76. This will be 76 thousandths, so you'll say 76 thousandths. Handwriting was not my forte when I was your age. Okay, there we go. All right, use words to write 37.06. Don't write 37.06. Write it as English. So we're going to go 30-7, and you don't have to write the and that gigantic, but just make sure you're doing that. Okay, well, what is this number right here? 0.06. Don't write 0.06. That's 0/10, right? And it's 6 hundredths. So you're just going to write 6 hundredths with THS at the very end. And there you go. Okay. All right. Write 64 hundredths as a fraction and as a decimal number. Well, as a fraction, that's a piece of cake. There you go. Now, in your book, they might take this and you might see the answer and go, what? That doesn't look like mine. And what you need to do is just simply reduce the fraction. You can tell both of these are even numbers. So you could go 32/50. Nope, those are also both even numbers. 32 divided by 2 is 16. 50, 5 by 2 is 25. They might have this as an answer. As a decimal number, 64 hundredths, just write your decimal. It's a piece of cake, right? You know it's hundredths. If you want to do it this way and you find yourself getting a little confused, fine, don't worry about it. Just go, okay, I know it's hundredths. There's my tenths. There's my hundredths. And they want what, 64? Oh, okay, 64. Now, real quick tip. If they ask you to do something, right, 64 ten thousandths. Let's say it's that. 64 10 thousand. Okay. Then, instead of getting confused, oh wait, how many? Don't worry about it. Just do it very methodically. Ready? Just go, that's my tenths, that's my hundredths, that's my thousandths, and that's my 10 thousandths. And they're saying 64 total out of all that? Oh, okay. Well, it's got to be 64 at the very end. And I guess these will all be zeros. There you go. You can always do that. If you ever get stuck or whatever, just start writing a decimal and going, well, the next number is going to be tenths, then hundredths, then and so on. Okay. All right. Look at number 6. Write 12 and 9/10 as a decimal number. Well, we can go 12. The and means the decimal. 9/10, well, it's 0.9, right? That's our tenths. Then we have hundredths and thousands, but we don't need that. We just need tenths. Okay. All right. Give the practice set a whirl. Do the entire thing, and it is on page 185. Do all of them. Pause it, of course, first. Do this. Do all of those, and then unpause it and come back, and we'll take a look at them together. So go ahead and pause it. All right. Let's take a look at these things. Look at A, B, and C. That's 1/10, 21 hundredths, 321 thousandths. All right. D, E, and F. Pretty straightforward. 0.3, 0.17, 0.123. Words to write each one of these. 5 hundredths. Make sure you put the THS. And don't write 5/10. That the 5 is in the hundredths place. 0.015. That should be 15 thousandths. Thousandths. Right? Okay. Everybody there? All right. Let's go back. I is 1 and... Excuse me. That's not right. Is it? Did I do? Oh, yeah, that was. 1 and 2/10. Correct. J is 7/10. There you go. 0.7. 31 hundredths. Check those out. Those should be pretty straightforward. And the last one, 0.125, 125 thousandths. Make sure you can do that. All right. And we'll get into ones that are a little more tricky later on. But you're in good shape if you're doing most of these right now. So stick with it. Okay. Have a good day. Knock this out as fast and accurately as you can. See, you should be getting better on those warm-ups too. Those should be getting slightly, you should find yourself 35 lessons in. You should find yourself getting slightly faster here and knocking more of these out more quickly. So anyway, have a great day. See you next time.